they took up the sport of boxing. At a young age for Evander Holyfield, it was in order to survive as he grew up in a rough neighbourhood, while for Roy Jones Jr., who was an athlete and a great thinker, he was inspired by watching Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier fight to pursue boxing. Lennox Lewis, what made you choose the path of boxing at a young age?
Well, Muhammad Ali was definitely my hero and a big reason me taking up the sport, because I definitely wanted to be as great as he was. And but part of the reason as well was, I was doing a lot of different sports. I was a true athlete. I played basketball, football, soccer, everything that came along in high school. And because boxing was an individual sport, I seemed to excel at it because it really all depended on me. So I didn't have to work with a team. I was my own team. So that's what made me really take to it like I did.
And Lennox, if I can move on, can you tell me about your experiences winning a gold medal for Canada in boxing in the 1988 Summer Olympics, beating Riddick Bowe in the final? Did the Olympic success provide that extra inner belief that you were going to go all the way to the top tier as a heavyweight and down the line becoming the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world?
Yes, absolutely. Going to the Olympics was a great experience because I realized that, at that time when I went to the Olympics, Russia had a big team, Cuba had a big team, and the Americans had a big team. And I was boxing out of Canada at the time, and everybody was saying at that time, oh yeah, but the Cubans are the best in the world, the Americans are the best in the world, and you're going to meet the best at the Olympics. And I'm like, okay, well, this is what we go to the Olympics for, to see who's the best. And I've actually had the opportunity of going to two Olympics, 84 and 88. 84, I was young. I lost to Tyrell Biggs. And what I realized that, all he had over me was experience. So I decided to stay for another 4 years because I was still in high school. Went back in 88, beat Riddick Bowe, and, very positive going in there. And my train of thought was like, they're going to have to knock me out to win because I have to win. This is my ticket into the pros. If I win a gold medal at the Olympics, then, it's pretty likely that I'll be heavyweight champion of the world because that's what usually happens. So I won the gold medal. I was very happy, and it was like day and night. All of a sudden you go into a fight, and people don't know if you're going to win or not. You win, and all of a sudden everybody wants to take your picture. Everybody wants to get a hold of you. Everybody gives you a lot of attention. So that was great, and it did help me to go on and become undisputed heavyweight champion.
And Lennox, you went your first 25 fights unbeaten before a surprise loss to Oliver McCall in 1994. Was that a defining moment in your career, surfing a setback but finding the character to bounce back even stronger and to conquer Evander Holyfield over 2 fights to become champion? What are your memories of those fights?
Well, I think losing really propelled me even better because, if I didn't lose, I wouldn't have known how great I am. And even boxing Evander Holyfield a couple of times, because he's a great fighter. He had a couple things that he did well, and his defense was very well. His movement was very well for his size, and he was pretty well a small heavyweight. But the first fight with Evander Holyfield, I was kind of upset that he was actually coming in the ring singing. I'm like, this guy's singing, coming into the ring. He must really think I'm a joke. So that really got me upset in that particular fight. So I performed like that. But I beat him that fight. The judges didn't see it that way. One judge didn't see it that way. That's because she basically was looking at the wrong fight. Anyway, the second fight with Evander Holyfield was a lot clearer with the judges, and I basically went in there and did the same thing, because a good big man can always beat a good small man. That's why we have different weight classes.
Yeah, And Lennox, if I can bring you on to the 8th of June 2002, your legendary tussle with Mike Tyson, what was the build-up to the fight like, with all the world watching every move you make and the dramatic scenes in the press conference before the fight? In a fight, Lennox, where you were on the front foot for the whole fight, which you stopped Mike Tyson in the 8th round. What was going through your head through that fight, in the build-up and then afterwards?
Well, the build-up was pretty amazing because, I wanted to fight Mike Tyson for a long time, and even before his incarceration. And when he got incarcerated, I didn't know if the fight was going to happen or what. So what happened was, he came out of incarceration. He didn't want to fight me straight away. He wanted to fight Evander Holyfield. And he boxed Evander Holyfield, beat him on the air. And then I didn't know if the fight between me and Tyson was really going to happen again. So Vegas didn't want the fight. Nobody really wanted the fight but Memphis, so we decided to fight down in Memphis. I went down to Memphis and I trained for like 6 weeks in this private neighborhood. I didn't realize how much fans I had. People didn't like Tyson down there. They thought he was just a bad guy. And we fought down there. I realized that Mike Tyson had a lot of bad people in his corner. He had this guy in his corner that was known for taking out the horsehair and putting it in water and stuff like that. And
wow.
I realized that, Mike Tyson's never seen a boxer like me. So basically I just had to go in there and box him and do what comes naturally. And that's what I did, because while he was in incarceration, I was out training and having fights. So I was way ahead of him on skill and technique and everything. So that was an important fight for me. With the fight, people were saying to me, "Oh, what do you think, he's going to bite your ear?" I was like, "Nah, he's not going to bite my ear." So even in the fight, I was thinking, I'm not going to really get into no clinches with him because I don't want him to do anything like that. But I realized the reason why he bit Evander's ear is because Evander headbutted him. So, it's not the right thing to do, but, that's how boxers get down. That's how Mike Tyson got down. Now, the fight between me and him, the first round, I actually boxed it wrong because, I went in there to say, I'm the commander of the ring, I'm the champion, you're just coming up. And he was basically a bull, trying to be a bull, and I'm not really a bull. So after the first couple rounds, I kind of settled down into some boxing. And, Mike Tyson is a real tough competitor, and in that fight, I really respected him because he took a lot of punches, and that is actually the first time my hands have ever swelled up. So that shows that I was hitting him, but he was taking it, and he was taking it like a man. So he's a true gladiator, true competitor. So he's my friend now, and he's been a foe for so long in my career. The fight between me and him had to happen because every time I got my hair cut or somebody got their hair cut, there's always that argument: who's the best? Somebody would say Tyson, somebody would say Holyfield, somebody say Lewis. But until we got in the ring to prove it, nobody was believing anybody.
Yeah, and Lennox, your last fight was against Vitali Klitschko. Was this arguably the most toughest fight of your career? And what were your memories of this fight also?
This fight was one of these fights where I took on 10 days' notice. Basically, the guy that I was supposed to fight from Canada said that he didn't want to fight, so we had an open date. HBO came at me and said, "Listen, we have an open date. Klitschko's ready, and you should fight him. You can knock him out. It'll be the icing on the cake before you retire. This and that." Usually, I don't take a fight like that, but Emmanuel Stewart was on me as well. He said, "No, you can beat this guy. That they don't have no heart. This and that." So we took the fight. We took the fight 10 days notice. Didn't have no sparring. And it was a situation where, it was after the Tyson fight, and the Tyson fight was my main focus for my whole career. And, I took a year's rest or half a year's rest, and then I got back in and I said, you know what, I'm going to take Kurt Johnson from Canada, and then I'm going to take Klitschko at the end of the year. But they sped up my plans, and, if I look back right now, should I have took that fight? Well, I wouldn't have took that fight. But I took the fight. The fight was the sense that, you know, this is a person that I had to adjust to because he had a weird style. He would lean back, and you know, he was nowhere to be found. So I realized that the Klitschkos, all you have to really do is really hit them. So I really wanted to get close to him and hit him with my jab because he's never seen a boxer like me. And when he felt the power of my jab and everything, you know, he could take it, but his skin couldn't take it. And in the sport of boxing, you know, you got to be a good boxer on the outside. You got to be a good boxer on the inside. You got to be able to take a punch. You got to be able to have good stamina and not cut easy. So that fight is funny. All my friends liked it, and I was saying, well, why did you like that fight? He says, oh, you know, because it was back and forth. You know, you got hit, so it was exciting for the fans. So, you know, it's a fight that definitely I enjoyed, and, you know, people say, oh, well, why didn't you fight him again? The reason why I never fought him again, because at my worst, I beat him at his best. So at my best, he would get knocked out anyway, so it didn't make sense. So at the end of the day, great fight for history, one of the greatest fights in history for heavyweights, and I'm glad I was part of it.
Lastly, Lennox Lewis, congratulations on being inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame in 2009. Here in Ireland, we've seen lately great boxers like Carl Frampton and Katie Taylor make their marks in boxing at world level, becoming champions. What personal advice would you give to any Irish young kid who wants to pursue a career in boxing and one day's dreams of being an Irish world champion, the likes of Wayne McCullough and etc.?
Well, what I would tell, and I tell all kids this, and all people that are in boxing or want to be a great fighter, you know, it takes dedication, it takes hard work, it takes perseverance, and it takes belief in yourself, because that's one thing, you know, a lot of people can always get you out of your game. But if you got perseverance, and this is what you really want, the main thing is the sacrifice. The sacrifice is training every day, putting a lot of time into getting your body fit, getting strong, learning the technical advantages. And what I usually do especially when I teach a young fighter to box, is defense, because defense is very important. Defense gives you the longevity that you need. Defense makes sure that you don't get hit and make sure that you are not walking on your heels at the end of your career. So I would say focus on defense and before offense. Once you can protect yourself, then you should know how to go out there and throw punches. I always say that, you know, I've got an arsenal filled with punches I can throw at any given moment. And what my trainer used to do with me, he used to always bring me back to the beginning. Always work on my jab, always work on my left right, always work on my left hook and body punches to perfect those and get them always at the best that you can possibly do. And especially, you know, there's a lot of Irish fighters that, you know, want to get in the ring, and they're small too, so, you know, they should use every advantage that they've got, whether it's, you know, movement, whether it's defense, but, you know, like I said, defense is a big part of it because you want to have longevity, you want to be able to speak correctly after your career, and hard work, and this is the last thing. The last thing is, like I said, people won't believe in you like you believe in yourself. So, you know, hard work, perseverance will allow them to believe in you, especially when they see the results of your hard work.
Lennox, it's been a pleasure talking to you on RCB Radio, Sport Ireland, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavours. Thank you. Thanks a million.
Hey, thanks for having me, and I'd like to say hi to all my fans in Ireland, and, you know, Ireland is the Ireland, coming from Jamaica.
Cheers. Thank you, Lennox. Have a nice day.
Bless.
Thank you.